Hello YouTube, my name's Rocky. I'm a bus driver. I've been a driver since 2011. I'm going to be talking about how I became a bus driver in this video. This video is going to be useful for people that are training to be a bus driver, or people that might be thinking a change of career. So you might be an Uber driver or a coach driver or a lorry driver, or doing something completely different and think, do you know what, I'd like to try bus driving. So I'm going to talk about my experience and how I changed to become a bus driver, because I did many jobs before, and I'm going to give you the ins and outs of everything. Like, I'm going to start this new channel and I'm going to be talking about ins and outs of being a bus driver, the realness, not no BS. I'm going to give you the absolute realness.
Fire system pressure.
As you can hear, I'm on the bus now. I'm just on a little stand time in the cab. Yeah, so I'm going to be talking about all sorts, ins and out, passengers, duty cards, everything that can help you if you're becoming a bus driver, or you relate to it because you know a bus driver, you might be married to a bus driver. Yeah, it relates to everyone really. I'll be talking about funny stories that's happened to me, experiences, all of that. So in this video, it's going to be very brief. This is just an introduction to myself, and to let you know that, yeah, I'm going to be starting to do this, and I'm going to try to be consistent with content to give to you. So how I become a bus driver. Before I was a bus driver, I used to be an estate agent, so it's a completely different career. Yeah, I was an estate agent, and I was an estate agent for about four or 5 years, I think. And I was very good at it. However, I have got a family, so I have 3 daughters. At the time, I only had 1 daughter, and my other daughter was just about to be born. And I just needed a change of career, but I didn't know how to go about it. And it actually goes back to one of my friends from college. Like, he lives in South London, I live in West London, so it's hard to meet up sometimes. He's busy, he was a bus driver, I was an estate agent, so we hardly had any time to meet up, and we always used to say we're going to meet up and never did. So because of that reason, we was on the phone to each other one time, and he was saying to me, let's meet up, and was trying to arrange days and etc. And he was like, oh, do you know what, next week I've got a long weekend, so I can meet you any of those days. I was like, long weekend? What's a long weekend? And he's like, oh yeah, so I've got Thursday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday off. I was like, what's that, a holiday or something? You booked holiday? And he's like, no, I get that every month. I was like, what? You get that every month? What do you mean? Like a long weekend every month? He's like, yeah. I was like, tell me more. And then he started telling me about the job and what he does and how much he gets paid, and I was like, what? Really? For bus driving? He was like, yeah, like, you got your license, haven't you? I said, yeah. He said, you had it longer than 2 or 3 years? I said, yeah. He's like, do you like driving? I said, yeah, that's probably the best part of my job, which it was. I did like going out in the car to the properties, and sort of, I loved being out of the office. I didn't really like sitting in the office behind a computer. So he said, look, if you come and meet me, we'll meet up next week on my long weekend, as I said, and bring me your CV, and I know the manager, so I'll see what I can do for you. And I said, all right, let's do it. So I did that. We met up, and you know, people say things and you don't always believe them, but I thought, you know what, I'll do it anyway. So I got my CV sorted. I had to do a CV because I hadn't done a CV for 5 years, as I said, and I gave it to him. And then he sorted it out. And a few weeks later, I had a call saying they'd like to invite me to an interview. This was Metrobus in Croydon. He's originally from Brixton, but he worked in Croydon. And yeah, so I went for my interview. Didn't really think anything of it. Just thought, you know what, I'll try. And I ended up getting the job. And as I said, I live in West London, and I travelled all the way to Croydon, which was another story in itself, which I will talk about in another video later on. And yeah, it was just from then it completely changed my life. Like with an estate agent, I was working sort of 8 till 6, sometimes 8 till 7. It was very heavily commission based, so if deals fell through and things like that, um, like I wouldn't get paid, and that's not really good with a family. It's not really steady income. Sometimes you could get a really good month, sometimes it's not so good. So yeah, it wasn't stable, and you look the part. You wear a suit. I had a company car, so yeah, I looked the part. I looked like I was making a lot of money, but realistically, I wasn't. So when I started bus driving, also I used to get paid monthly with estate agent. As far as I'm aware, I've been a bus driver a long time. I've worked for a few companies now. As far as I'm aware, you only get paid weekly as a bus driver, which is quite hard to adapt from monthly pay to weekly pay, because you have to sort of budget yourself and work out what you got to do and what you got to pay, and save and not save, or it depends how you do it really. Um, but yeah, that was one of the things I actually really like, that you get paid weekly. You don't go a week without getting money, basically. And when you work for the week, so say I work this week, today is Monday, it goes from Monday to Friday, or Saturday till Friday is the week in the bus world, and whatever you work from Saturday to Friday, you will get on the following week. So if you do overtime, if you do like 6 or 7 days, you're going to get that paid on the week after. So if you've got something coming up like kids' birthdays or things like that, yeah, it's a good job. And as I said, it's been stable. I've been doing it for a long time. A lot of people say, oh, I'm going to do it for a few years and then I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that, and they end up staying. They're here 30 years later, and there's obviously a reason for that. It is a good job, even though every single bus driver will moan about it, and I moan about iBus, which is all other stories I will get into at a later stage. So yeah, this was just a brief introduction to myself. And yeah, I'm going to be going into all sorts. Anything you need to know about bus driving, I'm going to give all of the realness. I'm going to be completely honest, and I've got some funny stories, situations. I can talk about how to do checks on buses, lots of things to help you. So if you, as I said, if you're thinking of changing job, or you're a trainee bus driver, or you're thinking of applying, or you've applied, you've got your interview coming up, these videos might help you. So like and subscribe this video, and subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be, as I said, trying to be consistent, and yeah, let's see what happens. All right, but as I said, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you soon.